What we're going to do today is read through this website. You guys are going to be detectives. You guys are going to be searching. You're going to be trying to identify some of these types of fallacious reasoning. When we find them, I'd like for you to highlight them, and then just like we practiced today in the do now, I want you to also code them. If it's overgeneralization, you can put an OG. Self-contradiction, what could you put? SC. Circular reasoning, you could put CR. False cause, you could put FC. Good call. I'm going to help you out with the first paragraph, and then we're going to do some partner work, and then I'm going to have you guys try this out on your own, and then we'll talk back at the end about what you saw and what happens when somebody uses all this kind of fallacious reasoning. What does it do to you as the reader? I'm going to start. I want you to be on the lookout while I'm reading. Look for keywords. Look for things that are going to tip you off that this author is using fallacious reasoning. So have that highlighter ready to go. I would probably take the cap off if I wanted my highlighter to be ready to go. Almost everyone is ready to go. Warning! This report is under threat of being taken down due to its content. It is important that you read below to know what to do to prepare for the apocalypse. Myself and my research team have spent thousands of hours researching the 2012 end of the world controversy. After reading through over 357 websites focused on 2012, as well as thousands of articles, we now know the truth. The world will end on December 21st, 2012, because that is the date of the apocalypse. We are trying to spread the word to help save people just like you. No one wants to face the truth, but this information, you will have all the evidence that people will be unable to deny. After all, the dinosaurs existed once, and now they're extinct. So the same will happen to humans. The best we can do is prepare ourselves with knowledge and materials to survive the end of the world. I see some highlighting has happened. What did you highlight? What did you find? What did you hear? Luis, what did you highlight over there?
I highlighted when he said that it will end in December 21st of 2012. And then he said because that is the date of the apocalypse.
Okay, that's exactly right. That is an example of fallacious reasoning. He said the world's going to end because that's the date it's going to end on. Do we know what kind of fallacious reasoning that is based on those four? The world's going to end because that's the date it's going to end. Luis, what do you think?
False cause.
I think that sounds like false cause. I put a little FC. It's also kind of a circular reasoning, so some of these might be more than one type. Our job as readers is really just to find them, to make sure that we can identify in text when an author is using fallacious reasoning. So there's one, but I see some more yellow highlighted than just that one. What else did you see or hear? What keywords did you come across? Stephanie, what'd you find?
That the last line says the best we can do is to prepare ourselves with knowledge and materials to survive the end of the world. And before the sentence says after all the dinosaurs existed once and now they are extinct, so the same will happen to humans.
Okay, what's wrong with those sentences?
About the dinosaurs, they're saying like everyone is gonna die, and the second one it says like to prepare ourselves to survive.
Okay, what kind of fallacious reasoning are you hearing? He's saying everyone's going to die, and then he's saying, but you can buy stuff to survive.
False cause?
What do you guys think? He says everyone's going to die, but then he says, buy my materials and you'll survive. Calling somebody.
Ariana?
Anna.
I think it's a self-contradiction.
Why do you think that?
Because it's saying that everyone is gonna die, but then it's saying that like he knows a way, like he's trying to prepare us for trying to survive.
Yeah. Do you agree with that, Stephanie? That could be self-contradiction? Okay, so let's put an SC on that one. I do think there's some false cause in there as well, saying that the dinosaurs all died, so now we're going to too. Well, that's not necessarily true. Just because the dinosaurs went extinct, that doesn't mean humans are going to absolutely go extinct as well. So I think there is some false cause in there too. How about overgeneralization? Can we find any keywords? The always, never, those kind of keywords. Gio?
It says no one wants to face the truth, but with this information, you will have evidence that the people will be able to know.
Yeah, that no one in there tips us off that is you can't make a statement that general. That's overgeneralization. Any other ones? Christian?
After reading through over 357 websites focused on 2012, as well as thousands of other articles, we now know the truth.
Okay, what's wrong with that?
It says that they read over 357 articles, which is usually impossible for just a couple of people.
It's impossible to read 357 articles?
Yeah.
I can say pretty positively that I've read 357 articles in my life. So is it possible?
Probably.
So it's possible. But does that matter that this guy read a bunch of articles? Does that make him know the truth?
No.
Do we know what kind of websites he read?
Yes.
Does he tell us?
No.
No, he doesn't tell us. We don't know what he's reading. He could have been reading websites on Superman. Well, he could have been reading websites that promote this movie. So just because he read all these different websites, that doesn't make him an expert. That's something we're going to be talking about tomorrow, is how do you make yourself an expert? So that makes me doubt him, Christian, but that's not necessarily fallacious reasoning. That's just something that makes me kind of question this guy. So I agree with you that makes this guy's stance kind of shaky, but that's not actually fallacious reasoning. That's just him saying he's read all of these things. That doesn't really make him an expert, though. What I want you guys to do for the next paragraph, the next paragraph is going to be about what? Take a guess. What's the next paragraph going to be about? Justin?
The 2012 apocalypse.
Okay, what about it? Look at the picture.
The Mayan temple.
It's going to be about the Mayan temple. Does anybody have any prior knowledge about what's going on with the Mayan temple, what that has to do with 2012? Lance?
It has nothing to do with 2012, but they used it to sacrifice, maybe since they stopped sacrificing.
So they used the temple to sacrifice. What does that have to do with 2012, though? Why do people think that the Mayan temples have anything to do with the world ending?
Because the calendars are on it.
There's a calendar built on the temple. So that's probably what this next paragraph is going to be about. This guy's going to try and get you all hyped up about the world ending because of this Mayan calendar. What I want you to do is read through this paragraph with a partner. You can take turns reading out loud. And I want you to see if you can find some fallacious reasoning in here. You should find at least one example, maybe even two. How long do you think that's going to take you?
15.
Can anyone beat Luis's 15 minutes? Christian?
Probably like 10 minutes.
All right.
Can anyone beat Christian's 10 minutes to read a paragraph? Ariana? You want 5 minutes. Anybody think they can do it faster than that? Dude, you just asked for 10. Let's go with 5. Let's go with 5 and I'll check back in with you. You've got 5 minutes, read through it, try and find some fallacious reasoning. Go. Yeah, what's the key word in there?
Never.
Never. They use the word never. It's really difficult to make a claim that states that something's never or always a certain way. Highlight it, code it. All right, 5 minutes are up. How did we do? Can I get a thumbs up? You found at least one? Can I get a thumbs up if you found at least one? Lance, you didn't find any? You found like 5. Where's your thumb? Thumbs up if you found at least one. Fantastic. Everybody found at least one example of fallacious reasoning in that second paragraph. There's an overgeneralization in there. What's the overgeneralization that's in that one? What's the overgeneralization that's in there, Yaneth?
Where it says for ancient people who were so precise about the architecture and the calendars, their prophecies are never wrong.
What's that key word that showed you that's too general?
Never.
Never. It's really hard to use never in writing and support that claim. So that's an overgeneralization. This guy also kind of pulled a switcheroo on you. He's talking all about this temple with the steps and the 365. At the very end of the paragraph, he says, and there's a whole other calendar that I didn't talk about. That one's going to end. So the world's ending. So what Justin and Lance found is that he used a lot of facts and he used a lot of evidence. It's true. A lot of it's true. That's a real temple. That's there. The Mayans are known for architecture, art, math, science. That's all true. But Justin, what was your point?
That it has nothing to do with the world ending.
That has nothing to do with the world ending. He's not supporting his claim. He's giving us evidence that doesn't support his claim. So sometimes just having facts isn't enough. You have to have the right kind of facts. Good. Flip your paper over. What's that next paragraph probably going to be about? Anna?
Probably about the movie.
Probably about the movie, something that happens in the movie, because there's a movie poster there. Justin?
Probably about, like, how the world's gonna end.
About how he thinks the world's going to end. Okay, so we've got a paragraph about how the world's going to end. Then that fourth paragraph is going to be about planets, about a planet colliding with the Earth. I want you to take paragraphs 3 and 4 this time. But this time I want you to work independently. I would like for you to read the article by yourself, paragraphs 3 and 4, and hunt for any evidence you can find, any examples of fallacious reasoning. How long do you think it'll take you to read 2 paragraphs and hunt for some fallacious reasoning? Steph?
8 minutes.
8 minutes. Anybody think they can beat Stephanie's 8? Luis?
No.
5. I think you could do it in 5. I'm going to give you 5 and I'm going to check in with you. Go ahead and get started now. Please raise your hand if you come across something you're not clear on. Eyes up on me. I see a lot of highlighting. I see a lot of coding. There's a lot of examples of fallacious reasoning in here. This guy is relying on everything he can other than facts because he doesn't have the facts. Some of the examples that I heard you guys talking about, he's telling us that everything's going to disappear. But then he says, buy my survival kit. He's contradicting himself. If everything's going to disappear, how is your survival kit going to help me? It's not. Then he's talking about how, this is a great one. He says that a planet could be headed for Earth right now. Right now. He even wrote it in capital letters and he put it in bold. But then he says that the government has been silent about it and NASA stepped forward to say it isn't real. Well, I thought you just said the government was silent about it. So what's NASA doing talking about it? He's contradicting himself over and over again in the end of this article. Why? Why is this guy doing this? What's his purpose? What was his purpose for writing this? Luis?
For people to buy his kit for 2020.
Yeah, let's look at that very last paragraph, and this is going to be our reflection for today. We're going to think about what was his purpose as an author and what does it do to you as a reader when somebody uses this fallacious reasoning. So just listen to his conclusion if you haven't gotten there yet. What can you do? Educate yourself about this will be vital if you'd like to survive what's upon us in 2012. Your family will cope best by preparing for disaster before it strikes. One way to prepare is by purchasing our Nitro Pack Disaster Survival Kit. Once disaster hits, you won't have time to shop or search for supplies. But if you've gathered supplies in advance, your family can survive until help arrives. Act now before it's too late. Are you prepared to live? Nitro Pack, buy now, only $22.95. What was his purpose? What was his purpose in writing this? Yaneth?
To sell his survival kit.
He's just trying to sell a kit. He's just trying to make some money. Do you trust him?
No.
Are you sold?
No.
Are you persuaded? Does he have power to influence you? No, he doesn't. Because he relied on all these forms of fallacious reasoning that I am a great reader. I'm not going to fall for this. When you are writing, you cannot fall into these traps of making claims that you can't support. Instead, we need to use effective forms of persuasion. Tomorrow, we're going to learn about some of the ways that as a writer, we can be effective. We can get our power. We can influence people.